just gonna go with manual for now again. That's fine. Hi Clive, what's up? Welcome to the trot. I think we're gonna be very lonely today. So let me
Uh-huh.
actually start with that when it comes to updates. So Sogan and Astaran, they're both Iranian, right? I don't
Uh-huh.
know if we ever like spoke much about this. And
Yeah.
so obviously right now their worries are with their families and their friends who are
Yeah.
still in Iran, because
Mm-hmm.
both of them do live in Italy, so they are safe per se, right?
Yeah.
But their family and friends might not be. And
Right.
as the situation continues to, evolve in ways that are not great, yeah, I think it's just like it would be stupid of me to ask them like, can you come today, or can you do this,
Yeah,
can you do
yeah,
that, because they can
for
literally not
sure.
focus on that, which is I think very very understandable.
Yeah,
So
for
instead
sure.
of even trying to do that, trying to be compassionate instead and be like, yeah, just like, it's fine. You don't even need to
Yes.
reply to when I write you. Like, take your time, do your thing,
Yep.
and try to figure out how to get all your family members safe, right? I think that's much more
Sure.
important than anything else right now. So that's that.
Yep.
Ilan is on a holiday trip, I think. Ilan is like,
Okay.
hurry though, people. I will be back after summer. This is how it feels, at least, which is also fine. Because I
Uh-huh.
think we did not have anyone specifically lined up anymore for the Alana Magazine podcast. A lot of the
Mhm.
people that she reached out to, turns out they were really shy coming onto a live, or even like video
Oh.
recorded podcast. So a lot of
Uh-huh.
them said like, can it be something written that we publish? Like, it doesn't have to be a
Uh-huh.
video. So they were very shy, and I think that was also a little bit of a bummer to her, because she was like, "Hey, we're doing this. It's kind of cool. Why are you not coming? I don't understand." Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so a little bit of a bummer, but I guess also a learning in progress, in the sense of, though you would want creators to speak more and show themselves more, not everyone wants to do that and is ready for that, right? And that needs to be
Yeah,
respected as well. So that's okay. So
sure.
anyway, we didn't have like, someone lined up for that, so it's fine. No biggie, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So something that I did this morning, because I think that was also pretty important to get done, rather earlier than later, is the interview with Julien Genestot, who's the founder of Unlock Protocol. Originally,
Oh.
Sogan and Nastaran designed the questions, right? Which was good, because they asked stuff that I would not have ever asked him. So it turns
Uh-huh.
out like he is, he was in the 90s. He was like part of like cyberpunk movement, and like
Oh.
really deep into this, right? And like advocacy
Uh-huh.
for the permissionless open web that Web 1
Yeah.
represented. So it's really
Mm-hmm.
cool how, he grew up like a teenager student, right? Grew up to found a
Yeah.
decentralized blockchain based protocol. And the other projects that he used to work on, like a Medium super feeder, I don't know if you remember this, Daily, at the time of RSS feed curation, right? That was
Yes.
kind of a huge deal. And I was really rooting for it, but it was just not mainstream enough. And then, social
Yeah.
media, big tech, like swallowed all of this eventually, right?
Yep.
But he was always
Mm.
at the forefront of all of these initiatives since the 90s. And I was really, like, I have never gotten into that much depth with him, right? I knew
Yeah.
that he has like certain opinions and standings, and, you know,
Yeah.
stands for the advocacy of the open web. Of course, why else would you build an open source protocol of that magnitude?
Right.
But yeah, it was really cool, like doing the interview, like recording that, but using her or their questions. Gave
Uh-huh.
gave also me like an entirely new perspective
Yeah.
on
That's cool.
right. Yeah, I thought so
Yeah.
too. I thought it was pretty cool. So that
Sounds like
was
it's gonna be a
cool.
good article.
Yeah. Oh yeah, then I can share my screen. A quick visual updating. A little bit of visual updating here. Yeah. Also, maybe you want to see this, right? Wait. Let me also do this. Where are you guys? Here you guys are. Yeah, a pretty sad meeting. Just the three of us, but it's okay. I like you guys. It's okay. Okay. So let me see. It's right. Concrete, dirty carved, king, concrete tiles. So I have started texturing like a wild beast on the Tower of Humanity. And
Mm.
yeah, and it's actually it's coming together. So I
Oh,
have a
wow.
yeah, it's not there yet, right now it looks a
Uh-huh.
little bit like a Death Star, just like the tower version of it. It's not that
Uh-huh.
crazy, I promise. Like once the textures load, you will see it looks just
Yeah.
like a weird type of skyscraper. Although now I'm thinking maybe
Yeah.
I leave it this way. This is kind of cool. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so at first, I only had this structure, and I was like, I guess that's high enough. Then I looked up how high skyscrapers have to be to actually touch the sky, because
Yeah.
we want that, right? We want like little cloudy babes, right?
Yeah.
So these are like the little cloudy babes right here. So we want this, right? We want this where I want to say these clouds, they like maybe around here, they do
Yeah.
touch the skyscraper, right? And so I was like,
Yes.
oh, damn, I guess, if that's the case, I have to build a little bit higher, because with just that, yeah, you don't get there, right? So I
Right.
learned you need at least what 100 and something, or like at least 100 floors essentially to touch the sky. So I was like, okay, fine.
Uh-huh.
So let's get 100 floors in here. So this is what what I'm trying to do now, and hence I had to start building this out. But I'm using, I want to say, a modular strategy. So you see some
Mm-hmm.
of these elements, they are in fact repeating elements. So this one, for example, oh wait, let me unfold the clouds. So if we go back to this view, so these guys, for example, is the same as these guys, right? So I'm working in like
Yeah.
somewhat of a medium modular way, but I think stuff is coming together quite nicely. And it's like all this like concrete and I want to say polished stainless steel kind of optic,
Mm-hmm.
ionized stainless steel, of course, because that's why it's black. Um, yeah, I think it's coming together for eventually doing final renderings. And yeah, that's mostly it. There's still a lot
Nice.
of stuff missing though. So what's missing is, aside from the actual tower, is of course closer environment. So let's just imagine we have a camera perspective that goes like
Mm-hmm.
this, right? Then we want this not to be white, right? We want this to
Yeah.
feel like terrain. So that is something I have to do, and then also go in and I want to say you know edit the environment so it doesn't feel like completely stale of sorts, right? So like this is all stuff that still needs to be done. Also, in the original mock-up we had, there was let me see over here. Sorry, just can't help myself sometimes. Okay, so we have these clouds. Okay, cool, done, right?
Mhm.
And I have now an entire cloud pack, so I can put clouds everywhere. Okay, so I want to have this kind of like a little bit of green. Then I want this to go down into a cityscape, right? So I've been looking at
Yeah.
right. So like we have this like soft backdrop. I could fake this backdrop, but because we have different camera angles and not just one, it's not going to be easy
Mhm.
to fake it. So instead, I thought of like semi-faking it. you know, in 3D, you always think about faking stuff and being really good, okay? Like being really good about faking stuff. This is the only thing you ever think about, like how to fake this best and how to fake it from all possible camera angles. So the answer to this is probably an add-on, and I looked one up, which is like, so I have now bought the add-on for the clouds, which I anyway wanted to have also to make the trailer for ALANAmagazine. But
Uh-huh.
uh, I was thinking like, okay, cool. So I bought this like Cloudscapes add-on, and it works. It's like a library of sorts, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
Sorry, like I know you have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm explaining it to you anyways. That's fine,
No,
right?
I'm fascinated. I love learning about this
Yeah?
stuff. It's pretty cool.
Oh, okay. Then I'm not doing this for nothing. I'm so happy. Okay. Um, so in Blender you have the asset browser, and in the asset browser, this is where all of these different types of clouds are being stored, right? And so, for example, if you know, like if you wanted to have a chimney smoke, right, this is how it would work.
Uh-huh.
And if you wanted to have a stratus cloud set, right, then this is how it could work. Obviously, 90 degrees switched, right? So depending on
Mhm.
your on the need, the type of clouds you need, right? There is one
Mhm.
in this library, and then you can compose them in a modular way to make them seem like a cohesive set of clouds, essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah, if that makes sense.
that's
So
super cool.
the same thing exists for city building, right? And it's the same company who does it, and I think it's called Cityscapes. Yeah, that's the one.
Mhm.
So since it's just a backdrop and the backdrop will definitely be blurred, we don't have to be like too over precise on how this is supposed to look like, right? It could
Mhm.
be anything that roughly looks like there's different heights of buildings. It wouldn't matter. So I'm thinking this is probably the add-on to go for, and it works the same way. So it has like this a library of assets that you can just drag and drop and then compose depending on your camera angle to make sense of stuff. This is essentially
Mhm.
how you do it, and I think this is a good deal. This is not like a crazy cost, and I think
Mhm.
it gives us a
Yeah,
lot of shit to play with, you know, and optimize as we need and see fit. These are like some of the assets. So I think
nice.
that's good, right? Like I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds good. Has 96 assets, 8K textures that we do not need, in fact, but who cares? Um,
Mhm.
yeah, and I think also for me, it's something that I will keep using, you know, to make like these kind of renders and mock-ups for like the gaming stuff that I'm building. So I don't think this
Right.
is a bad investment of like
Oh,
$30.
yeah, different cities. That's cool.
Right? It's pretty cool. I was pretty
Mhm.
surprised to be honest when I found this. I was like, oh, never thought about if something like this exists, but apparently it
Uh-huh.
does, you know? And yeah, and this is how you can make it work, right? So yeah, I was like, okay,
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, makes sense. Okay,
Cool.
so that is something that's also still missing. So this whole like backdrop stuff, essentially, that's like what's
Mhm.
definitely missing right now and needs existence for this to become a cohesive story. Right now, you know, I only placed one camera and this like really poor mannequin. So I have a height reference. But the poor little mannequin. Yeah, so she's pretty tall though, because this is like a two
Yeah,
meter 50, you know, but okay, I mean, she's wearing high heels technically. I guess she is tall. She's a model. Okay, fine. I guess that's
right.
the nature of models. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I'm thinking if I keep this as an internal structure and then I build a glass casing around this middle part, I think that could
Oh,
look cool, you know?
yeah.
And yeah, and then become more solid towards the bottom, I think. Also replicated this structure because I kind of really like it, because if you look from the top, it has this like, you see this arrow effect.
Yeah. Oh,
So
that's
I was,
cool.
right? It was pretty cool. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, why not? That seems like a cool idea. So let's just throw it.
I really love this concept, like it's like humanity, a modern version of humanity, like, building it kind of relates to like technology and our like evolution over time in terms of like civilization development and things like that. And then coming out with the creative with the models and the fashion. And I really love it.
I think it's gonna end up looking even cooler than it looks right now, because like
Oh, for
right,
sure.
this is just like plain lighting. Is nothing has been composed. Textures are in place, but you know, when this is being rendered, I will use this tab a lot, which is like a compositing tab that allows
Hmm.
you to, I want to say, it almost works like Photoshop in a way, right? Just
Hmm.
node based. So you can, heighten contrast, you can add grain to the renderings, you can, you can really compose the image at its core, like while it is being rendered. So not as you would do in Photoshop, you do it like
Uh-huh.
afterwards, right? That has already a
Right.
very different effect than if you compose the algorithm essentially that is behind rendering before it is being rendered. It has a very different effect. So I think, I imagine very like sharp black and white, but then like the garments being in color, right?
Yeah.
Like almost like
They
emitting a
pop.
glow of sorts.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm very much. I think this is very challenging. So it's not going to be
Yeah.
an easy one, even for me. It won't be.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's totally worth it, and it's necessary to go outside of our comfort zone sometimes. So that's okay, I guess.
So on the digital edition, people will be able to like rotate and kind of interact with it and things like that, or
I wish we would be already there, but we're not.
uh-huh.
This is not
Uh-huh.
this is not a me problem, right? This is more of what our devices can shoulder and how this is being built. So right now I'm optimizing this for rendering, which requires me
Uh-huh.
to add more polygons than I would need to add when we would be optimizing this for a virtual space. I'm building this in a, I can show you, I'm building this in a non-destructional way, which means, like, let's go in this view. So you see some of these edges have been rounded, right? Um,
Mhm.
so they feel like more real because, like, if
Yeah.
you look at any wooden table, any stone block in the world that has been carved or cut or put into architecture, it's never like sharp as a knife on the borders,
Mhm.
right? So what this
Mhm.
means is I'm adding polygons, right? So here you can see this, like all of these lines
Mhm.
indicate there is more geometry to this than just like,
Yeah.
the four sides and the top and the bottom, right? And
Mhm.
if you multiply this with all the different floors, then becomes quite a good amount of geometry. We can actually check out how
Mhm.
much this is right now. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're still doing okay. Okay, for now we're still doing okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're not. See, so this object in itself has 60,000 triangles. All
Whoa.
of what I have in this space right now has 2,700,000
Oh
triangles,
my gosh.
right? And that's something
Crazy.
that most, I want to say, pixel streaming, WebGL, right?
Mhm.
You would need to build a game for this, so people could literally download it and then interact with it. And that's just
Ah, gotcha.
right. It's just too high res for this, and then we haven't even added the models nor the garments, right?
Oh,
Mm,
right. Yeah,
yeah.
true.
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
wish, but it's not a me limitation this time. This time it's just a technical limitation that we're facing. Um,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, this is why when like something that is built in parallel to what we're doing here in Alana Magazine is Alana Boutique, right? It's something that
Mhm.
On Click Closet and I are working on. And so, for example, we have sometimes objects like this one. This is an open source object that we found on the library. And we're like, yeah, we
Mhm.
want to build this into one of the spaces. This is a really cool shell. It feels like it hits the
Yeah.
theme, right? But then this shell has like, I think 5 million triangles. And I was like, yeah, we need to trim this down to like 20,000, something like this.
Uh-huh.
And on Click Closet looked at me and she was like, "Are you insane? That's not possible." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's possible. It's just a process." And so, she started with this, right? This is like what we call retopology. Then I told her, yes, this is a good start, right? Then
Uh-huh.
I think, wait, let me show you. And then you know, then out of this became this, right? A little bit more refined, more detail. She finished it, and
Mhm.
that allowed us to do this here, which is essentially a very
Oh,
low poly model that we bake the high poly structure on. So this is
mhm.
not, what you're seeing here is not actually geometry, right? This is just a
Yeah.
representation of other factors that we use in texturing to imitate
Mhm.
fake
Mhm.
geometry, right? Visually.
Yeah.
So, And she should be really proud of herself because this was a monster process, to be honest. But yeah,
Oh.
she did it, and she did a really good job at the whole process and learning about how to do it, right? But this is the process usually every single 3D piece has to undergo
Mhm.
before it goes into a virtual accessible space, right? And we call this
Great.
retopology, or like essentially virtual space optimization or game asset optimization process. And it's really
Hmm.
fucking annoying, and it costs so much time and energy and work and all of it. So now you know why this just like it's not going to be accessible in a virtual space for now.
Right.
Yeah. But I think the cool part is just that we have a lot of control with this, right? Or we can
Hmm.
put camera angles, we can set the lights, we can make garments literally shine, I think, in this. And that's
Hmm.
something that, in AI, you just have much, much less control. You have some
Yeah.
control, but you don't have that amount of control. And what I really wanted to filter out in this edition is showing that both technologies have their relevance and have their place, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
doing it so each of them can keep their own space and doesn't get like directly compared with each other, because that's not fair, right?
Yeah. No. Mm-mm.
Because both of them have their limitations and their advantages, but they happen to be very different. So, yeah, I hope this will turn out cool. Anyways, moving on.
Are you
Yes.
are you also designing the actual pieces the models will be wearing as well? Is that another thing you have to do?
No, this is what the competitions are for. So please voice that,
Oh, right.
okay? Both of you that you're here, please voice that to
Uh-huh.
people, because we have now both pages live on the Alana Magazine website. So wait, let me actually. Oh, why is this so small? No idea. So if you hit get involved, right, or burger menu on your phone, actually,
Mhm.
you have two ways on how people can get involved. There is the Air Edition cover competition, which is just for the cover, and here's what people can get out of this who actually get picked, and this is also where they can submit. And then we do have the editorial competition, which concerns these four very different fashion editorials, right? So if you
Oh,
go
right.
down
Okay.
here, right, remember, these are all curated in the sense of they do have a curation brief. So this was my cover pick, if you remember. And then
Hmm.
if we go download here, right, it opens the file from the Google Drive, which is like the, why are you not opening? Yeah, I was like, bitch, I know you can open. Okay, fine. Sorry. Okay, so on here, right, they can read about the intention of this editorial. They can learn about the
Yeah.
visual style. They can learn about the type of garments we're looking for, the poses, the environment a little bit more explained, the colors we're looking for. They can use some of the 3D fabrics I specifically created for people. They don't have to, but it's a choice, right?
Yeah.
So these are the ones that I made for my editorial.
Yeah.
For Orbeline's tutorial, I made some different ones that befitted their topic, right? All of
Hmm.
these fabrics, they are pretty much customizable. So you can adjust colors, you can adjust the sheen of the fabric, right? There's a lot you can actually work with on these things.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, and then there's also a Z project file here that people can use as a base avatar to dress.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like everything's technically in place. I think we need to publish more explanations. Today we're gonna post. Oh yeah, actually let's hit the next point in our agenda, which is active structure and campaigning on social media. Um,
Uh-huh.
Kirsty and myself, we've been. Oh, nice. Okay. Essentially, Kirsty and I have been structuring posts for every week. So right now we're actually, this already should be Wednesday, but it is not on
Hmm.
our agenda, which is a walkthrough how to apply submit for the cover competition. So she posted it on LinkedIn. I think Gabo is going to post it on Instagram. I just posted it on TikTok, and I will also post it on Twitter and Farcaster. And then, hopefully over the long run, right, we bring more and more attention to it and how people can apply. A few new people have already joined the Alana Telegram chat. I don't know if you guys are on
Mhm.
it, but you should probably
Yeah.
get your asses over there if you're not. But good job for being already on there. And yeah, just like really actively help sharing those posts, and especially,
Mhm.
Delia, Clive, if you guys know creators who might be interested in this, right, as an opportunity, then share it with them, right? Like one on
Mhm.
one, just be like, hey, I'm collaborating with this project, and they're running this competition. Like, maybe this could be something for you. Just take a look, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Clive says he cannot hear me clearly. Can you hear me clearly though?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. I assume it's a Clive problem. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my man. I will speak closer to the microphone and hope that helps a little bit. I'm wondering if I can voice settings. Let me. No, I'm already on the loud one. Sorry. This is the best I can do for now. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, so yeah, it's from my end and not yours. Okay. I don't know, because I live also in Peru, we have outages, we have no internet.
Mhm.
Like, it's almost the same as in your country. So it's okay. I understand. Most of the time when I'm on calls, like it's usually a me problem. So this is why I'm never sure, honestly. Um, okay. So, anyways, please actively share. Like, your favorite social media platform is fine if you do it there, right? That's
Mhm.
already super helpful. Yeah, someone bought our impact supporter tier.
Yeah,
So,
I saw that.
yeah, Sven got it. Sven is also
Woohoo.
my friend, but obviously, my friends are not rich and they don't randomly just buy stuff just because I, push it out there. So
Uh-huh.
I was pretty excited that he got it. He haggled me a little bit for it, which is fine
Mhm.
because he comes from an area in Germany that is all about bazaar behavior.
Really?
Yes, it's a southern West Germany. This is where you find a lot of people who want to haggle
Uh-huh.
with you about everything. Everything ever in
Really?
existence, even their own grandmother. It's totally normal. So, yeah, he was like, okay, so I'm sitting here and I'm thinking I should buy your impact supporter tier. What else can you
Mhm.
give me?
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I don't know. What else do you have in mind, right? And he was like, he was like, jokes aside, he needs some help looking over his existing brand, identity. And
Mhm.
he said, like, basically, he's happy with it, but he would love it if I could run a little workshop with him and his team to refine it. And I was like, duh, if you give me
Yeah.
$1,000 and unlock some match funding, yeah, I can do that. That's no problem,
Yeah.
right?
So it's like
So
2,000 then, right? Like we're getting, uh-huh.
no, it's not that much. I think it's 400 something. That's an unlocked
Uh-huh.
in match funding. But
Oh, okay.
depending on how much other people sell in the same funding pot, right?
Mhm.
It depends, right? That can shift again. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I spoke to him because he was one of the big winners last year at Artisan. He raised $100,000 through Artisan, but that had very different like sponsors for the funds. So we cannot raise
Uh-huh.
that. I'm sorry to say. Okay,
Mhm.
even if we wanted to, we can't. Um, but he said that he thinks the strategy that I'm applying is a good one because he went with the same strategy. He almost did nothing in the first few weeks, and then towards the end, he just went hard, right? And he reached out to
Yeah.
everyone that he ever knew in existence, and he was like, get this artifact, get this level, do this, right? And it's just like
Uh-huh.
pushing people. And he said like literally the last 4 days is when it came all together. So he said like take it easy, inform people, educate people on your socials. That's fine. But
Yeah.
like when it comes to personal outreach, keep it for the last 1.5, 2 weeks, right? And I was like, we
Mm.
can do that.
Okay.
Another thing that I want to show you is I was on Monday, I was on the accelerator, right? And actually here. And we have now a new accelerator, a page, essentially.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I don't have this. What the fuck is this? I don't have this. What is this? I guess it's now back in staging. I wanted to show you. So anyways, we have now like a separate room that's all about the accelerator. And in the accelerator, what Renee does is he offers weekly challenges. And some of them we should try and opt into.
Yeah.
Because I already opted into some, right? I got us like $30 in match funding because I'm part of the Telegram group and I continuously show up for the accelerator meetings.
Uh-huh.
So he gets a little bit of extra cash. But of course, he offers like much more and much bigger ones. So once like interesting ones come up, I will share them with you, and then we have to put in a little bit of grindy work to hopefully get some more match funding out of this, because he personally invests around $30,000 into the different
Mm.
projects over a season. So the more we can obviously unlock from that, the better
Wow.
this will be for our match funding and for our overall pool. But as of
Yeah.
right now, we actually are at. Now I need to think about this. Artisan. We are almost at the same amount already now that we had as a final in last season. We're at $2,640, which is obviously really, really fucking cool, right? Because it
Yeah.
means we can not only pre-manufacture now the magazine, but we can also prepay writers, which gives us like,
Nice.
just like I feel it's more relaxing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is really cool, I think. And I set our funding goal to 10,000 because he told me, think like what you think you can reach, right? And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, about 5,000. I think we can reach at this point. Like, I don't see why
Mm-hmm.
not, right? And then he was like, okay, and then double that amount. And I was like, okay, I guess that's then 10,000. So that's our funding goal now, okay? Just
Yeah.
so you know. Yeah, and if we sell this one last remaining tier, I'm also thinking of adding one more tier. So we have 4 tiers again that we can offer, but only if we
Yes.
sell this one, of course, right?
Would something we could offer is like an interview on the podcast that might be of interest to some people.
Yeah, maybe. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will keep that in mind. Good point, good point. Thank you.
Because yeah, I like do a lot of podcast outreach, and a lot of them charge now.
Yeah,
They'll
they
charge
do.
you like, depending on the size, anywhere from like $100 to like 900 for production costs to be a guest on the podcast.
That's actually a good idea
That's
on
so
how.
wrong.
Yeah, but this is a good idea on how to monetize, right? And also
It
how to
is.
make creators
Yeah,
understand that Alana Magazine podcast for them is free,
it is.
right? No,
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Mm.
What do you think? Hi,
But
Lucito. Good morning, also.
hola,
Hi.
hola, buenos días. Perdón, sorry that I entered a bit late. Super, super crazy days. But
No worries.
you mentioned that you wanna put a fee on the podcast.
No, not a general fee. Delia just suggested it as a potential additional tier for the artisan campaign if we sell the other impact supporter tier. Because we only had 2 impact supporter tiers, right?
Yeah.
So let's just say both of them are gone. I could add another tier because then we would have 4 again, right? And then she said, how about, space on the Alana Magazine podcast? And I was like, yeah, maybe that's a good idea
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
as a reward.
Yeah, definitely. I think, what you mentioned earlier that about, talking about right now, what we're doing, like educating people on the artisan and what we're doing. I think that's super, that's a very good idea. So we can just like communicate why are we doing this specifically on the magazine. So what's our mission? to say, because like defining, we are offering the mission so everyone can transmit. Why are we doing the magazine? What's the aiming of it? Maybe they will understand a little bit better and try to invest into that, instead of just,
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I explained myself.
No, no, good,
Yeah,
good.
I get you.
Right? Yeah. I think you're
Yeah,
right.
like, and on the podcast or something like that, like just like why are we doing this, and maybe we can, add the gorilla side on this, like we are trying to, I don't know, what are we doing with the magazine? We
Right.
try to give space to everyone. I mean, we need to define that. So like, uh, the initially was to give space and to all the creators in the community to have a place where they can submit their work, they showcase their work outside of the Web3 space, so that's the idea of printing and, making distribution collaborations so more people can see the work through that.
Hmm.
So, but, I remember the first idea and the mission that why we initially, I started this is because it was because of Helen, what happened to her, and we decided to say like, "Oh, let's take some action in that, let's
Mm.
offer the things that they are not offering to the community, like
Yeah.
building the things that we want to see the community." So trying to, transmit all of this, maybe I think it will be, as they mentioned on the from Renee, that, that will, I think that will be a stronger message than just like posting around that, you know uh share some support, that just share some money with us or
I
for the
mean,
funding, because right
we never ask that, right? We never say like, "Oh, can you send us some money?" That's
now, no,
not
I know we don't
right.
ask that directly, I know, but right now it's like when we are showcasing everything, it's like, okay, there's a magazine, and why are they, asking for money? That's what I say. Like, okay, you have a magazine that you already launched one, so you can clearly make another magazine without money. So what do you need money for? So that's what I see from the outside. From if I'm
Mm.
not part of the magazine, but I'm following. It's like, okay, so what do you need the money for if you already made one without money, and you talk about it and you mention it? So I don't know. That's my thought. Outside of that, and maybe giving a reason of that. That'll be not just the reason that we're working on it and we want to have a revenue from it. It's like, what's the mission on that, and that mission needs to align to the funding.
Yeah. I'm typing some notes. You're on. Yes, value.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I feel like in the other hand, like if we don't communicate that, it will be just like like the other magazine, like Prompt Magazine and the other magazine. I know the content is not nearly close to that. We have a better
No.
content, but the way we express it, it's like it needs to be different. Otherwise it just because like Prompt Magazine, they just sent me a message right now. They're inviting me to a showcase and they're charging me 7 euros, and they give me a discount like 50%. Like I just need to pay 3 euros. So it's like, yeah, that's super great, for a showcase. But they just, what's they're aiming for, and what's the aiming of their magazine. When I look
Yeah,
into their magazine, it's just like
but
images and stuff like that.
but also if you
Hmm.
look at, for example, how's this other magazine called, Sick or Sky or something like this, right?
Psyche?
Psyche, yeah. It's all very pretty, right? But if you then
Yeah.
look closely, there is never like an actual interview. Like it's always just like a question answer, question answer, question answer, right? It's no real
Yes.
journalism that is part of this magazine, and a lot of it is actually AI generated, which at some point, as more people understand how to use AI tools, not only more platforms will build in spam filters for fake content, like they've already started doing that
Yeah.
for bots, right? They will now start
Hmm.
Yeah.
doing that also for AI, because no one wants to sell their products to AI. Companies want to
Yeah.
sell their
Of
products to
course.
people, right? So
Yeah.
I think, this is where like we have a clear advantage, but you're right, we should communicate this more. So I took some notes and will,
Yes, like all of the like we have aimings to all of the things we do in the magazine. It's just not, because it's pretty or because it looks great. We have all these ideas that we are, taking that other magazines are clearly not doing. So I
yeah,
think it's just like right now, asking for money and the fundraising will be great time to just, communicate
to
all that.
show people.
That's what makes us different. Because we're building in this form, and they're just, not trying to attack them directly because it's not the idea, but just to trying to make the audience understand what's the difference. This is not the other magazines.
Yeah.
Delia,
Hmm.
my marketing lady. Would you mind, like taking these notes and letting
Uh-huh.
them like roll them through your brain synapses and think about
Uh-huh.
how this could potentially look like in like, let's say, uh, you know um, a campaign over like 2 weeks or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
I mean, like we can also start with the, why
Yeah.
the content of the magazine, too, because like we removed the content from, sorry to interrupt, for the content from music to gaming, because obviously gaming, it has more connection with digital fashion, and it has more relation to many of the things that we're doing. So the whole idea is that, like, hey, we are taking into this, concepts in the magazine because we are seeing where the future is moving in some way,
Yeah.
like the virtualization of the spaces and everything that is related. We're just not taking content because, out of the things they are. It's just everything is related. As the same idea of having the four editions related to have a fifth, maybe something that come off from like a benefit or something like that. Everything is like connected on the larger scale. So that's what I
Hmm.
think that we should, communicate
I
that, how we are trying to envision this on a larger
Yeah.
scale and not just another edition of the magazine.
I think these are very strong points. I think
Yeah.
because I'm so in this, I often don't think about it, right? But I think Havo is actually very much on point. And Delia, if you would share your screen, you would probably be nodding, right?
Yes.
Good. Okay, cool. Yeah, then favor to Delia. Uh, think about this and think about how this could look like, how we can translate this into a social media campaign over,
Yeah.
say, a period of 2 weeks to break down these different elements. We have already our content for this week, so potentially that could start next week, maybe mid
Hmm.
next week. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, that would be great if you could take on that task. Would that sound okay?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you very much, Dilly.
Hmm.
So, yeah. So, Sven purchased the Impact Supporter tier. So, we will be eternally grateful. But also, because Sven is obviously someone I know by now a little bit better. He's a friend of mine. So, I told him that I would want to send someone else to do the interview, right? So I already talked to Lutra, who anyway has a huge passion for crypto philanthropy, which, funding platforms are part of that entire system in Web3. And Incentive is
Hmm.
essentially a funding and distribution protocol. So it's a more refined version of Gitcoin, which is cool. Yeah, and so I asked Lutra, and he's going to conduct that interview eventually. Not this month, but probably next month. This is where this
Cool.
is headed, going, wherever. Again, I was on the Artisan Accelerator on Monday. It was great. We learned about this new accelerator space that we will have at our disposal. If some cool campaigns come up, I will let you know. And then we can work out on how to respond to them as a collective. The last thing I want to say on my agenda is I spoke to Toby again. So Toby fixed some little bugs on the website. They are now running all smooth. If you discover anything on the website, please let me know. Take screenshots, take a small screen recording, and make me aware so I can send this stuff to him, because this is still
Mhm.
part of warranty right now, right? He's just like keeps fixing stuff that is not perfect. Um, he also talked to me about the how to make the magazine visible again on the website, right? And so right now visibility comes not right to any means. This is something we need to fix, obviously. I'm happy that no one has asked for it yet. Because we first needed to finish these, these competition pages. But now is the time to get the shit done, right? And so he had two things to offer. He said, either I build you a plugin, or I build you a direct website integration. And so, of course, the plugin is more cost and labor intensive. The direct build-in is relatively easy to do. He knows how to do it because he's done the research on the stuff that I sent him. And it will be also easy to copy to other pages, right? So it would literally be duplicating the code that he already has and adjusting it to a new website for us, right? Just not for other people. So I told him, yes, for
Mhm.
now, I would want to opt into that. So we just have something that works well, right? And he said, the probability of bugs and stuff emerging from a direct integration will be much, much lower than building an external plugin. There was also reason to decide rather for the direct implementation. And I told him that eventually I would like to work with him and subsidize essentially the building of an open source plugin to get this stuff done, right? So eventually that is something that I do want him to build, but this will be something that I finance privately, and we put it up as open source tech so other people can use it too. But yeah, for us now,
Love it.
right? For us now, we're just gonna have the direct integration. I asked him to give me a rough idea of pricing because this is like an integration I've never done with a developer, so I really don't have an idea of labor intensity. He usually gives us really fair and really good pricing. So I think he's going to be good for it, let's just say.
Sorry
um,
to interrupt again.
sure, what's up?
Yeah. What's the integration is to do what, to showcase the magazine? I didn't understand
Oh,
this.
this is for people to actually view and download their edition that they own. Like before,
Oh,
remember we had this
okay,
on
okay.
Darkblock. Darkblock shut down their
Yeah.
services beginning of this year, right? And then I really wanted this to be hosted on Arweave, so it's like long-term accessible, right? And this is
Okay.
essentially pulling the data, so it's verifying that you hold ownership over the specific NFT, and with this verification process, it pulls the data from Arweave, so you can access the magazine and the connected data points like the 3D files and stuff from within our
Oh,
website, right?
okay. Very
Yeah.
interesting. So it's like another source extracting the data so you can download the magazine from Unlock.
No, so unlock is essentially like the key to it, right? So imagine your NFT that you get from Unlock after minting, right? As the key
Yeah.
is a verification key that says, yes, you are allowed to download that, to pull
Oh,
that data,
okay.
right? And that functionality needs to be connected across blockchains because our NFT is on
Oh,
Optimism, but the storage is on Arweave blockchain because it can store data up to 200 years right now. So it's the most closest we have to a permanent web solution. So it's pulling that data and saying
oh,
like, yes,
yeah.
you actually own that
Now
key.
I
You're
understand.
good, you know?
Now I understand. Now this is the kind of stuff that we need to transmit,
Mm.
because that's what I said. There's a lot. I know it's super complex. I know, I understand. But this is like we need to find a way so we can communicate all these things, that we are ambition. How can you have 200 years of data accessibility and no one decentralized, and we think about this. All that we do is with this idea. We need to transmit that, and being able to not maybe just like to try to educate, but just transmit what all the things that we're doing in the magazine.
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
all of this is
you're right.
great. These are still great things, and everything has an ambition, like larger ambitioning, and we're not talking about any of that. Nobody knows about that, but just us. Just maybe you, because I didn't do it too.
Yeah, I mean, I do talk about this, right? But
Hmm.
maybe not always in magazine context. This is why people might
Yeah.
not connect these things, right? But there is a reason why we're doing the magazine, for example, with Unlock, and let's say not with Manifold, not with
Yeah.
Transient, right? It's because even after, like, let's just say Julian decides Unlock is bullshit and he doesn't want to pay the hosting fees for the website anymore, right? On any normal platform, we would lose access to everything we've ever built on that platform, right? Like people did with
Yes.
Spark AR, right? Almost 1 million people, creators, lost access to the assets that they put up on this platform. Um, but in our case, using Unlock will allow us to edit and control these contracts that the magazine is based on, the key to the magazine, so to speak, right? It will allow us to keep editing that content via the on blockchain explorer. So in our case, that would be Optimistic Etherscan for the Earth edition and Base Chain Explorer for the upcoming Air edition, right? And we have that same access control over all functionalities as they are on the user interface without coding on these explorers. This is how the protocol is built, right? And this is why it's so damn cool. But I always feel like I'm totally nerding out explaining that shit to people. So
Well, actually, it is. But for someone that doesn't understand about, I understand what you say, like 80%, not hundred
look,
percent.
I can actually,
And it's even,
you wanna
and
see
I know
it?
all of it is complex, and this is why I mean we need to transmit all of this information, not
Then
just the content of the magazine.
then you people help me. You people help me understand how to break this down because I think I'm too far in. I don't know. Okay, wait.
I
I'm gonna.
understand what you say. That's why I mentioned it. We need to have a point of view from outside. Because we're all into the magazine, but there's so much things into the magazine that we have built that there's complex. So it's just complex to build them together, to understand and to express that. So that's what I said, that I think this is a great time so we can start pushing on that and people understand really everything that is behind the magazine.
Yeah. Do you? Okay. Let me ask you this because we have some time. We have 5 minutes left, right? I can do this in 5 minutes. Don't worry. I can do it. Okay.
Okay.
So let's see if you notice. So if you want to look up any kind of transaction from any wallet, or if you just want to look up a wallet, there is such a thing as blockchain explorers, right?
Uh-huh.
Right? You've heard about this blockchain explorer, correct?
Yes. Never used them before, but I know they exist.
Havo says he knows that they exist. How about you, Delia?
No.
Nope. Okay, that's totally fine. I just need to know where you guys are
Uh-huh.
at. So let's just say you wanna look at my wallet, right? You wanna spy my wallet, and you wanna
Hmm.
see what I hold on Etherscan. Okay, on Ethereum. Sorry, on
Mm.
Ethereum. Okay. Then you can see the first search entry that comes is Ethereum Blockchain Explorer. So this is the search phrase for any type of blockchain explorer. Okay, so you want to look up my shit on Optimism. This is what you search
Uh-huh.
for, Optimism Blockchain Explorer. You want to know what I have on Base Blockchain Explorer, okay? It's always the same structure for like Google search, okay? So
Hmm.
then in our case, we want to look at Optimism, okay? Because we don't want to look up my personal wallet right now. You can do that in your free time, right? You want to look up the contract that we have for the ALANAmagazine, okay? So here's Optimism, right? And we scroll down a little bit. You will see there is the digital only edition. So this is it, right? So we're going to copy that contract from the Unlock user interface, right? So there's always essentially every lock we call a smart contract a lock. Every lock that you mint, in our case, the magazine digital only edition, is something that you can trace on a blockchain explorer. In our case, because it's on Optimism, we're going to look at optimistic Etherscan, okay? So I'm copy pasting the contract address here, and then we're just going to look at this and, well, ALANAmagazine, the elements, blah, 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 right? Then we see, yeah, we did not get rich with this, that's fine. It's okay. It's a little bit, a little bit. No, but it's okay. We made a little bit more money on the physical one, so it's okay. I just need to bring this in a spreadsheet together. But my point is, you can see all of this, right? It's transparent. So now comes the cool shit, okay? Cool shit happening in 2 seconds. You see this tab where it says contract, right? So we're assuming this website, unlock went down, unlock went dark, I cannot reach Julian, unlock is forever doomed, okay? So, but I want to still control what's happening, and I want to pay out those $57, right, to our shared wallet. So if there is no user interface, normally we would be fucked, right? We could not pay out that amount. But this is the beauty of a protocol. So you go on contract, right? And then you have something that says write contract, read as proxy, and write as proxy. We go write as proxy, okay? Then we would connect with the, I'm not doing this right now because not worth it, but you would click connect, right? And you would essentially connect the Alana wallet that I have now active on OP mainnet to this contract. This is how you actually connect to a contract. This is why blockchain is so insanely cool, because it allows the existence of protocols that will be able to access for you as a user, not through one user interface, but through multiple, and one will be always guaranteed, which is the blockchain explorer, right? So unless someone deletes the internet, that's another story, okay? But then we have other problems first, not necessarily $57 on the, Alana contract. So my point is that all of these functions that you see here, let me scroll this a little bit in, right? So for example, let's say I wanted to have all of you the same control over the contract as me. I could still add all of you through this function, right? This is how you add other log managers. If I wanted to, set a purchase, right? I could do that here. If I wanted to revoke an existing role, so let's say by accident I gave Rabo access and he's doing crazy stuff, right? I could revoke this role still, right? And it always only needs me to put essentially the wallet address, right? So data that I have openly accessible, available to me, right? That's then, for example, maybe someone reaches out to me and says, hey, Stella, actually, my wallet got hacked. I had the magazine on there, but as you can see, there is a drainer bot on it, and I really want the magazine again. I could say, okay, it's okay. I transfer the ownership from that old wallet to a new wallet, and I could confirm that here. And write will always unlock a transaction, right? And lastly, what we talked about. So
super cool. I didn't know you can do that.
This is
That's so.
this is why protocols are
Bro,
so
that's huge.
freaking insane, This is
Insane,
why
man. Whoa, I didn't know you can do that with us.
yes, as long as you have still control over the wallet that you deployed the contract with, which obviously we do because I'm super paranoid, we're
So
good.
that means, so wait. So this means no more rock pulls, right? This means that no more rock pulls on projects. Like you cannot be rock anymore if you're in this, doing this on this way, because you can transfer ownership even if you get rock pulled, and you can extract data from that,
Yeah.
Man, great.
I mean,
Wow.
rug pulls only ever happen when projects have malicious intent, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
So it rarely
Yeah.
happens any other way. We don't have that
They went
for obvious
backwards
reasons, right? Because then we could just go and pack our shit because we're based completely on trust. But yeah, essentially this allows you to interact with the contract even though, Unlock Protocol .com might not even exist anymore. And it's, by the way, it's very similar with Farcaster as a sufficiently decentralized social media platform. Farcaster doesn't just have one client, right? So right now I have installed on my phone the normal Farcaster app. But for example, last week Farcaster client was down and I wanted to check my social media. I was like, eh. And then I found out there's just other clients that I can use to check the same things with a little bit of a different user interface, right? So that's the beautiful of decentralization and protocols, where users don't just have one access point, but they can choose the access point. And if you have a protocol that's completely decentralized, like Unlock, then you have what I just showed you, where you have access to every single function on contract level, but by not knowing code. You don't need to know code. You only need to know wallet addresses and amounts. That's all, right?
Hmm.
That's that's what blew my mind, and you know why I was like, Unlock is the technology for this. Like this outlives
I
everything.
didn't I didn't know about this. I know Unlock. There's a lot of things that I don't know about Unlock, but this is great. This is a great one, really.
Yeah,
This words that you're talking about because like you realize that there's a lot of misunderstanding about the rock pools, and you will get scammed and everything. And this is like, brother, just look up for this, and everything you buy in his is safe.
yeah,
It doesn't matter if you get a rock pool for someone that is with bad intentions, you can still recover your data and all your assets. That's poof,
I know.
that's amazing. That's really amazing.
Once you know, once you, I want to say, go beneath the surface, right? This is when stuff really starts clicking, because you're like, wait, is this real or is this science fiction? Like, how does this work,
Yeah.
right? And this has
I mean,
been
this is
like
oh, this is huge. It's
yeah,
huge.
I know,
Yeah.
it's super huge, and this is why we're doing it, because you know what we're publishing here, it's gonna outlive all of us, right? And eventually
Yeah.
gonna outlive any physical copy that people will own as well, because I don't see anyone deleting the internet anytime soon. But who knows in today's world? Who knows? Who feels up for this new type of challenge, you know? But I think we're far from this, to be honest. So, you know, these tools, they allow people to own this magazine far into the future, right? They could potentially give it as inheritance to people. I think it's just crazy that, you know, it almost recreates a time capsule on chain. It's insane if you think about it. And
Yeah, it does.
this is why I was so adamant about using Arweave, even though, you know, Toby was like, you know, if we could just use IPFS, it would be all a little bit easier. I was like, I don't care about easy. We need Arweave. And he was like, oh, you're not going to let this one go. I'm like, no, I'm not going to let this one go. I'm sorry.
You're totally right. This is create a total heritage in time. It's a
Yeah,
time capsule.
it
Yes,
is.
definitely.
Yeah, and people can
Yeah, like
own that
we're
time
capturing,
capsule.
we're capturing what was happening at that moment. At that precise moment. The
Yeah.
evolution, of the things on the first edition and things that will happen. Totally. Yes. Oh, that's great too. Very good.
I'm
I
glad.
like that.
And did you feel it was understandable what I just told you? Like, was it okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
I totally understood. I
Yeah,
totally understood, because this is something that is how can I say is techy, but it's understandable because that's what you've been hearing from the market, like rock
yeah,
pulls that you will scam and everything. And this is like, yo, my friend, this is just avoiding this. To work with, we need to explain what people need to look up for
yeah,
instead like this, like make it simple, like, yeah, it has this brand logo that is working with this, and you can check, verify their accountability on I don't know, whatever. You can look up for them, and they're working that
yeah.
protocol, and that your assets and your money is safe, that you can still recover it. Now, how can you recover it? That's great, because that's understandable, because
I mean,
that's
this is,
something that people very worried about, that I'm going to put money in there and I'm going to get scammed, I'm going to get, robbed, pulled in, and that's it. And this is like, no, brother, this is
I mean,
evolution on that.
for them, for the users, it will be still a manual process, right? To reach out to us, to show us that they originally owned this, right? And then we need to confirm it from our side, and then we can make a transaction. But we can do it at least, right? So we have like a solution for them that doesn't put them in the spot of like, oh, I guess no one can help me with this, right? But yeah, I think the only thing that we really need to take care of is that we don't get rugged, right? Because if we get rugged, then obviously, our access to these contracts will get eliminated as well. But I'm taking really good care of the Alana centralized hot wallet, right? So these things don't happen. And eventually, I hope we can transfer ownership to these contracts. Not transfer ownership, but I want to say share ownership with our contract. So eventually the treasury will be a contract, right? And I want the treasury to partially be the owner of these contracts. So there will always be a back-end solution if, for example, the Alana hot wallet gets rugged or the Alana a cold wallet gets rugged, right? So there's like a triple security that I intend to have eventually for all of these contracts.
Yeah.
But for this, we need to finish token evaluation. We need to put the contracts in place. That's a thing for like later this year, once the ALANAmagazine is not so heavy on my shoulders anymore. Yeah.
That's great.
Okay. Cool, guys. I need to run. I need to go to a let's talk about DAO's Twitter space because that's a really good one. I cannot miss out on because it's all DAO nerds. But I see you later. Hear you later. Looking forward to a campaign idea from Delia.
Yes.
And looking forward to, once I've uploaded the video to YouTube, to a really cool paparazzi post from Clive. And looking forward to some cool posting from Havo. We're good?
Cool.
Yeah, my posting, like for anything related to the magazine.
Yeah, like you're now in control of the Instagram. Although I think you have to check. I think Kirsty already posted for today. Maybe check first before you make a post.
But you mean we already have our own brand identity, or you want me to create something and then share it for you to check?
Just keep checking the brand identity and socials channel. Because we have already lined up a structure for this week. So we're just following through with the structure and exchanging ideas and posts in the channel. But essentially, Kirsty recorded a video. I will actually post a video with subtitles right now on the channel. So you can potentially use that if you want to. Is this the one with subtitles? I don't think it is. Wait, let me check. Is this the one with subtitles? Oh, yeah, that's the one with subtitles. I think we're good, right? Checking. Yeah, this one has subtitles, so you can use that. If she hasn't already posted, again, I have not checked.
Okay. Well, I'll check on the channel and see what's there so I can.
Yeah. She has not posted it yet, so you're good to post this on the grid, right? And she also
I'm gonna check there and see
captions. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Cool.
Have a good day, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.